Podcast City Network. You're listening to The Brush and the Show.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Brad Chandler Show. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter at Brad Chandler Show. Also, make sure to check out the website. That's bradchandlershow.com. With me today, I have a co-host. Yes, I have decided to bring along a co-host, and the unfortunate soul is Bart Graham. How are we doing today, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
You're pretty blurry in your video.
It's my background.
Yeah, because your room's a fucking mess, like an asshole.
Yeah, of course.
That's why you have your video like turned to a fucking wall. Don't be a douchebag. Next week, get that shit fixed. With us today, we have the guys in Fires in the Distance. We have Kristian, the vocalist, and we also have Craig, the bassist. How are we doing today, guys?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Thank you. Yeah. How about you?
It's a pleasure having you guys on, man. I was talking to you guys just a little bit before we started the recording about how like exciting it is to like actually know somebody who got this record deal. You know, like I've known, like Kristian, we don't know each other like extremely well, but like I've seen you play with 60 Grit. Craig, I've seen you since the Engraved days, and I've known Igor since Engraved as well. I've known Kyle, even though he's no longer in the band, probably before Engraved, because he's from Suffield and I grew up in Windsor Locks. So I want to congratulate you guys on the record deal.
Hell yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's all kind of a blur, you know, in terms of having all this happen during a pandemic, and you know, the record deal is just half of it. It's just like, you know, having a release that people connected with is really all we could ask for as musicians.
So, like, how long have you guys been together? Like, I know you guys have all like been friends. Kristian, you did stuff with them when they were in Engraved. And I'm gonna mention Engraved like probably like too many times to count. But how did you guys decide like Kristian's gonna be the vocalist, he's gonna be the front man? How did you guys connect and decide that this was gonna be a band?
So yeah, I did for a very brief stint. It was actually Archaic Decapitator. It was like the very first Archaic Decapitator. I did bass before Craig did bass, and I did vocals, and Kyle did backing vocals on the drums, and then That's right. Yeah, I wasn't able to continue that because of 60 Grit. We were trying to do a lot at the time, and having two bands, I couldn't do it because I was also going to college still too, I think. So it was just too much on my plate. But we always remained friends. I mean, a lot of times 60 Grit and Archaic played shows together, or you know, we'd see each other at shows, you know, at the Palladium and Mass or something like that. So, but it's just really the friendship, I think, is how we just started this more than anything. You know, we wanted to try something different.
And Craig?
I mean, Kristian's here because of his stunning good looks and his beautiful voice. No, in all seriousness, man, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air, you know. Having somebody who can do guitar and vocals, it definitely makes things more efficient as a band, right? It's one less person to drag around, and
yep.
You know, it makes things, I think, a lot easier to operate. But, you know, towards the end of the Archaic Decapitator days, it was starting to feel like work. And, you know, it was kind of tough to manage the personalities and kind of where we were at that point. And, I mean, Kristian's just a chill fucking dude, as you can probably tell from talking to him. So, you know.
Yeah, Kristian's got that demeanor where he's like, yeah, I really don't fucking care what you're doing.
Just my motto is just chill and just get along with everybody, man. You know, I mean, that's a good way to be, I think. And they're great guys, man. You know.
Yeah, it definitely are. And I definitely fucked that up by saying engraved. It was Archaic Decapitator, and
Man, you're good.
but I mean it's basically the same guys.
Yeah.
So I'm not wrong. So so I want to know how did it come about? Like how did it come about that you guys got connected with prosthetics?
Well, the story was it was like the second week of lockdown, and I was driving around with my wife. We're pissed off. It's like everything kind of felt pretty shitty. And I noticed that Prosthetic Records followed us on Instagram.
Oh shit.
And
That's
I was
awesome.
like, oh, all right. Hey guys, I was just kind of reached out on Messenger. I was like, hey guys, like Prosthetic followed us. Like, I think that we should probably reach out and say something. And
Yeah, right. Like the worst thing they can fucking say is nah. Nah. We just wanted to give you a like to boost our ratings. Shit like that.
yeah, so we were kind of talking amongst ourselves a little bit, and we're kind of back and forth. Hey, maybe it was just a fluke. Maybe they just do this for bands, and I'm just like, nah, fuck you guys. I'm putting my assertive hat on. So I shot him a message and was just like, hey, we noticed you guys follow us. Much love and respect for your label. You've released a lot of our favorite artists. If you ever want to hear a press kit or you want to hear some of our tunes, just reach out. And I didn't know this at the time, but Steve Joe, the A&R guy from Prosthetic, he's found bands like, God forbid, Nevermore, Arch Enemy, worked with some
Wow.
very world-class acts at Century Media. And I was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, man, I pre-ordered your record. I can't wait to hear it. So I'm like, you want to hear it now? Hey man, let's cut through the bullshit. I'll send you the Dropbox link and you can tune in. And he's just like, yeah, sure, man. Like, send it along. He's like, I'll fuck with this over the weekend. I'll let you know what I think. And he got back to us and just said, like, guys, I absolutely love the record, and I'd really, really like to work with you.
Wow.
And that's kind of how it started. So, bands have a good social media presence. You never know who's tuning in and who's just a click away.
Dude,
That's fucking awesome.
yeah. I was just about to say that's fucking cool as shit. All of this ended up happening just by like saying, "Hey, dudes, prosthetics likes us. We should probably fucking do something." And then all these assholes are like, "Nah, it's probably
Yeah.
So I gotta say, like, so does that mean like you're the dad of the band? Like you take because everybody, regardless of what anybody says, there's always the dad and the dad in the band. So are you the dad?
I would say Craig is definitely the guy that is the dad, and probably he's got, he's the most organized of all of us, and, well spoken, and he's really one of the most driven men I've ever met. And that's a real big deal, I think, so very happy to have him be how he is with us. It's without Craig, I think we probably wouldn't fucking be on Prosthetic if it wasn't for Craig.
Yeah, because you fucking douchebags are like, nah, it's just some kind of joke or it's something they do.
And initially we thought, we didn't know. I mean, I was like, this is great, but we weren't sure, should we continue? And like, what do we got to lose? It could just, at worst cases, it's a guy pretending to be Steve and it isn't, but it really was. So, I mean, if it wasn't for Craig talking to these guys and really kind of pushing us and staying on top of everybody, which is what it takes, you wouldn't be in this situation. So yeah, Craig's the man. I love it.
I guess Craig gets a lot of pull at band practice. No, I said this riff should go there. No, I said this riff should go there. Who got us signed?
That's my weak point, man. Listen, like Igor's the riff visionary, man. Like I can write a good bass line for me. Like I'm good at musical arrangements. When I hear something, I can add to it. But like I'm not a riff machine like Igor is. We all kind of have our place in terms of where we are as a unit, where we are as a band, and like I'm good at kind of the back end work and talking to people and making sure we're running the business smoothly. But no, when it comes to riffs and things of that sort, man, Igor's the visionary. It's like we love what he does, and we give him the space to write and kind of be the driving force behind the music. And we're just kind of helping him bring his vision to life and fill in as many ear holes as possible.
Yeah, I was definitely just kidding, but that's cool to get a little insight, into that, part of the band. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is this the riffs and everything? Is this something that you guys all sit down and you write it, or is it one person? Is it like a couple people?
So it's the Echoes album was really Igor coming up with Chained to the Earth, which was the first song. And actually, how we were talking before this recording about All Stars in Manchester, that was actually the first place I heard Chained to the Earth, like the very beginning of that song. And he goes, "What do you think of this?" And I was like, "This is fucking awesome, man. Like, I've been wanting to do something like this forever," because I got tired of playing just death metal. I still love death metal, but I wanted to do something a little more feeling in it, you know?
Yeah, I've started noticing, like with myself, like I love music. I love this type of music, but playing it and listening to it all the time, it gets old. I got to get something else involved in there.
Right.
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite song in my listen, by the way.
Oh, cool.
I love that song.
Thank you. But yeah. I mean, he played it through, and he pretty much was like, "I would like to start a band. What do you think?" It's just something different, something completely different for all of us. So then it was really him talking about it, and then him asking Craig and Kyle and myself to be part of it. And then when he would come over here to my place in Salem, and he would show me the riffs. And then Igor's he's very creative, and he has a vision in his mind. And I think if you're a guitar player, you write music, you understand that the way you hear the song in your mind, if you can put that out there and present it to the people you're showing it to, the other members in your band, and that's kind of a gift in itself. But he pretty much said, for Reflections in the Ice is a good example of this. He's like, come up with an idea, come up with a riff. And he doesn't typically do that because we love what he writes. We love how he writes his songs. So he ended up saying, as a guitar player, just come up with something. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, we'll just fit it into the song. And he did. I came up with a few ideas. He threw it in there and changed it up so it worked better, because his composition is unbelievable. I don't know how he can actually come up with a lot of the, like the way he writes the songs, the phrases, the rest, everything is just incredible. But usually it's Igor coming up with the guitar parts, and then me learning the guitar parts from him. And then the creative freedom is lead guitar parts and stuff like that. And then
vocals too, right?
Vocals, yeah. Igor does come up with the vocals. He writes the vocals. I came up with a few vocal parts in Echoes, but it's really him doing it and putting it together, because he's writing the entire song.
So when you're talking about vocals, are you talking about the lyrics or the vocal patterns?
Both.
But how you accentuate them, I mean, that's you, Kristian. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be like, hey, kind of mash these syllables and these rhythms,
right.
But the expression of it is half of doing vocals.
Right. I mean, it's I guess you could say he comes up with the timing. Okay, he'll say, so for like 2 minutes and 39 seconds here, you're going to start here. And then it's really the phrasing and the cadences, I'll run through the way that I think it should be. And part of the way I sing and vocally with music is because I'm also playing guitar, I have to kind of make it work with the guitar, because if your tempo is different, if you're doing a 4/4 part vocally and you're doing the 5/7 part with your guitar, your brain's gonna be like, what the fuck,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah. It's a little frustrating and difficult but you got to just sit there and just repetition, But I guess you could say when it comes to the vocals, I'll lay down the initial timing that I would like to do, and then he'll kind of adjust it to match the song. Sometimes there's disagreements, but usually we can kind of meet in the middle, for that. Because when this album was done, when Echoes was recorded, we practiced it. We did vocals, but really the vocals kind of came to life in the studio. More so than anything else, because they really weren't completely finished. There was like 50% done, and then after the album was recorded, we sat and practiced, and I learned them with the guitar parts. And I have to say, there's parts that are not easy to sing and play, because the timings are off, but you get it eventually. You just muscle memory and repetition. So.
Now I've always had a fascination when there's a musician who's good at playing their instrument, and then there's a musician who can play their instrument and sing. Craig, you do some backup vocals as well. And one of the greatest things that I thought was pretty cool, and it was what Kyle used to do. He used to be the vocalist and the drummer. I always thought that was the craziest fucking thing in the world. But to be able to play the riffs that you guys are playing and singing, screaming, any type of style of vocals is just like you get my attention. You get my respect because I've been there. I've tried that, and it is not easy at all. It just takes like a shit ton of practice, and I respect it. I totally respect it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
Thank you.
But going on to the into more with you guys. So where did you guys end up recording?
Dave Kaminsky, who has played in bands such as Stonehealer, Autolatry, he started Studio Wormwood, I believe, in 2016. He was working at Morrisound in Florida, which, I mean, like all the Florida death metal bands did something at Morrisound at one time or another. So he kind of got to learn under those guys' wings, which is a really respected studio. And he brought his skills up north, and he hit us up in Archaic in 2016 and was basically like, hey guys, you know, I'm starting a studio. I'd love to work with you on your next record. And it's just, I mean, I don't put this lightly. Dave is like our fifth band member. He is just such a good producer. You know, when you're recording, you need to make sure that the person behind the board cares about your music, shares your vision, and is going to tell you when he thinks you have a better take, because when you're doing an 8-10 hour session, it all kind of blends together after a while. And ever since the first Archaic EP that we did with him, I mean, Dave has just been a phenomenal person to work with and a natural fit from a studio standpoint. So he has done all of the Archaic EPs. He obviously did the Fires record. He also produced the live session that we did at Telefunken. So, I mean, I don't think we could really go anywhere else at this point, because we know he's not just pushing the buttons and collecting a paycheck. He really cares about our music, and he feels a sense of pride in being involved in helping us to kind of bring our vision to life.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the fifth member, it's nice to have that type of producer, somebody who's good. Now, does he do it all, producing, at mix and master as well?
We farmed off mastering to Augmented Audio, but he did the engineering, production, all of that.
That's, like I said, dude, that's cool. It's, you know, there's bands out there that are getting screwed over by like people that are, like you said, just pushing a button to make a paycheck. And I've had a few friends that have had that happen to them, where it's like great music. It would have sounded better if they were with somebody who actually gave a damn. So
yeah.
And the nice thing is we know what to expect from him now. You know, for me going into this record playing bass, it wasn't like I had my parts fully written. I kind of had like 2 or 3 ideas for each part. I'm like, hey Dave, what do you think, man? You like this one better? And we kind of just vibed off each other. So it was really fun laying it down like that.
It's nice to have somebody like sitting there, like tell you exactly what they think, like not just like sticking their nose up your ass, like, yeah, dude, that sounds real good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it sounds good, man. Yeah, I don't care. Let's just get this over with.
He's really supportive, and like he gets you in the zone. He's brutally honest too. I mean, I think that's what you need if you're trying to get like the best product you possibly can make as a musician. And he'll tell you, you know, like, yeah, that was good, or, you know, it could be better. And you could be thinking you're giving it your all, and he'll be like, nah, you got to I need more. And you're just like, Jesus, man. But yeah, he can pull it out of you, and that's a gift in itself, you know.
And he'll tinker too, you know, it's just like, hey man, try this. Like, I want to hear what this sounds like. So the fact that he's like, yeah, give this a try, give this a spin, you know, it's just like, he's got that producer hat on, and he understands there's just like, records birth very slowly.
Yeah.
And you have to really make sure that you're looking at all aspects. You have more than one take that you like, and a few ideas before you actually put it on print.
One of my favorite things I've ever seen when somebody was recording was Adam D. I don't know if you guys have, you know, the guy from Killswitch, the guitarist. But there was a video out there where I forgot who he was recording out of the studio. He was recording them, and literally, like, every time they'd start playing, he's like, "Nope, nope." So, like, I went to the last time I went into the studio, I was just like, you need to tell me if it sucks. If it sucks, tell me, because I don't want to put something like shitty out. I want to put a good product out. And unfortunately, not knocking the guy that recorded us, but there's a few times in our recording where I could have used a nope.
And then you have to live with that, that's the worst
Yeah.
thing, when it's like, fuck, I wish I did this part differently.
But then I look at it differently, and I'm like, all right, well, there was this one song that I really fucking think was good, and like, if I did it differently, I don't think it would have been as good.
Mhm.
But so, Kristian, how do you come up with that? So the vocal patterns and whatnot, when Igor like sits down and he tells you, all right, here's your vocal pattern, here's the lyrics. Do you get to, like, is this just like set in stone, or is it like you get to fuck with it?
So initially, like, they are, for all intents and purposes, kind of set in stone, I guess you could say. But then I fuck with it. I guess that makes any sense. Because
a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Exactly. So it's like, I mean, this happened actually, is a good little short story, but when we were recording, I think it was The Lock in the studio, or Elusive Light, one of the two. We were running into that where I was like, no, it's got to be like this. Vocal rhythm's got to be this way. Dave Kaminsky was like, yeah, I kind of agree with Kristian. It's got to be like this. Eeyore didn't agree with me. So we were like trying different takes. We were actually arguing, and that was the thing, like, in there. I remember I got so pissed at one point. I was like, here, you fucking sing. Like, you want to do it, you do it, man. And like, he eventually,
recording is where everything starts getting
right. And then it was Dave who was like, nah, man, like, just, try it Igor's way, then we'll do it your way, and then we'll listen to it, and you can, because they both worked. It was just an enunciation of a word. That's all it really was. And eventually we ended up going with, I think, the way Igor wanted to do it. But it was something, one of those things where it's initially concrete, then I'll mess with it just because it's really just because I'm playing guitar. If I wasn't playing guitar and I was just doing vocals, I'd sing it anyway, that would work and probably add more stuff in there. But it's just, I got to make it work and be in time with the guitar as well. So, so it's a little bit of, like you were saying, Bart, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, for sure.
And since the album and all this stuff ended up happening during the COVID bullshit, have you guys, like, been able to play a show?
Yeah.
Even with it, like, outside?
We played one show in October outside that Dwayne Eldridge put on with Scene Productions. He's in More Than Light, and he had, like, kind of an outdoor concert series, and it was cool, man. It's just like, people really needed the music, and
absolutely.
I definitely think that once COVID, post-COVID, or vaccines or whatever, where people can go back to a little bit of normalcy, I think we're going to see, like, a whole shit ton of, like, venues that didn't shut down, and we're going to see, like, music come back, and it's going to come back strong.
I really hope so.
If I can be a nerd for a couple of minutes, I think there's some very striking similarities to the 1920s, where you had World War I and the Spanish flu right around 1918, 1919, and it ended in 2021. And after that, you had the Roaring '20s, the Harlem Renaissance, the uptick of jazz and small clubs, and just people really kind of flocking to culture, whether it be cinema, live music, technology. I mean, it's hard not to be a little bit beaten down by this, but I think it was an opportunity to release this music during the pandemic.
Now, go ahead, Bart.
Has the the whole pandemic social distancing culture, has that affected your writing process at all?
A little bit, yeah, because when it was getting, over the summer and such, Connecticut was a pretty safe place to be. We had hundreds of cases a day, not thousands.
Yeah.
So we'd still get together, maybe get a test or something before we got together. But we kind of put things on pause in the wintertime when cases were really out of control. But I had my first microchip implanted on Thursday. I know Igor got his on Monday. So,
I got mine
once we all
last
get
Friday.
yeah, once we all get 5G internet, man, it doesn't matter where we are. But we plan on getting together again now that it's safe.
I love how people.
This fucking thing better come with the Spice Channel. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I gotta say, man, I think it's hilarious that everybody's calling it the microchip, and it's like, well, I have this thing, so if fucking Big Brother wants to fucking pay attention to
Oh
me,
yeah, they're already following us all anyway. Like that's why I think it's kind of hilarious if people are worried about being chipped. You literally carry a tracking device in your fucking pocket.
Right.
Like, come on, just
like this,
come on.
this right here, like we're all doing this Skype interview right now, and it's like you don't think Big Brother's like, what are these assholes doing over here? Like fuck
Nothing
you,
of
Big Brother.
consequence.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kristian.
Yeah, it's I mean the COVID definitely has affected it, I think. I mean, we're all different, like me personally, I'm the type of guy that whenever I've written music, I like to write with everybody around me. I like to have the drummer, the bass player, the other guitar player, and just there to, and my writing style is way different than Igor's writing style. And that's something that I had to get used to in the beginning. Because I kind of just sit and we'll actually have an open jam. And if we remember it, this is how I personally do it. Then we'll keep it, record it, and then just use it to write a song. He'll sit down and actually write everything ahead of time, which is much more organized and kind of works better because that gives us a chance to practice individually as well, as opposed to just only practicing as a group. And that's still something, honestly, I'm getting used to doing is sitting at home and playing to the tracks because I myself really come alive when I'm in a live atmosphere with my bandmates.
Absolutely,
I play better. I need that personal one-on-one vibe to play because that's where the emotion vocally and guitar wise come out. But I think with COVID, because we really haven't been able to jam, I think the last rehearsal we had was it December, Craig?
It was January.
January, yeah. So as a full band, so it's been quite a while. I mean, we get together, but most of the time it's just individually just working on parts, new ideas and also the old stuff to keep that, still fresh and get our chops good and everything like that. But, and even before COVID, even when Echoes was written, Igor did kind of write the majority of it at his home, but at least we could meet up and rehearse it, every other week too. So I can't wait because I'm getting my first vaccine on Thursday. So once we all get to 5G, like Craig was saying, then we can all hopefully start back up again.
I'm the only one left out here. Like I fucking signed up for the goddamn vaccine, and I haven't heard anything back. Actually, I signed up for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and then the whole they're like, oh, you're gonna grow an extra tail with this one, so we got to stop it.
I like how we said extra, implying that he has a first tail.
Oh yeah, it's in the front though. It's about 8 inches long.
That's a short ass tail, man.
Well, I folded it in half. I had to wait a minute.
You don't step on it when you're walking out the door. Come on.
Occasionally. So Igor writes the music. Like, so how does he do it? Does he do it like he writes it on his guitar and he sends you guys the tracks and is like, all right, this is it? Or does he put it together on like Guitar Pro and send it to you guys?
It's a classical approach. If you guys ever played like music in grade school, it's like, you have your sheet music or you're playing jazz where you have your chord chart, right? Where you kind of fill in the blanks. His mom was a classical piano player and teacher. He's from Russia, the land of Tchaikovsky, and some fucking awesome.
That's awesome.
But he has a classical mentality where he'll work out the riffs on his guitar, he'll record it, he'll put some kind of basic drum ideas behind it to convey the vision, and we pick it up from there. So from the rhythm section, there's no bass when he does it. There's kind of basic drums, but he kind of allows that room, again, stick with the main idea, but put your own accent on it. That's kind of the writing process in terms of how it's done. It's not really overly computerized. It's him playing everything, but we get a pre-production track with real guitar and kind of programmed drums to work with.
Now, has he worked that way the entire time that you've played with him, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, he really has. Like in the early Archaic days, he used to kind of tab things out before home recording was really easy. But I would say that when he moved back from San Francisco in 2014, 15, somewhere around there, that's kind of primarily what he's been doing.
That's just nuts. I don't know how to read music. Don't give me no fucking music sheet.
Oh no, there's no music sheets. I guess what I'm trying to express is that, it's like, hey, here's the parts. It's kind of classically oriented, where these are the melodies, these are the harmonies, but you gotta play the parts, right? It's not jazz where you're filling in your chord progressions and adding a whole lot of your own accents. It's like this is the skeleton. Now you guys add the muscle to it.
Now, I gotta ask, do you guys read music?
I do, yes.
I do too.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I have no time to. I not really fuck that. I mean, congratulations, but I had no fucking patience for that shit. I actually skipped music theory class in high school to go play music with one of my friends.
Well, I mean, I started as a sax player in fourth grade. I was 9 years old and learned how to play alto sax, read music, and then I played guitar at the same time. I learned to play both, and saxophone. I played sax all the way up until my freshman year in college.
Can you still play?
I haven't played. I sold my saxophone. I wish I never did. I sold it probably about 8 years ago, and I kind of wish I kept it because I enjoyed it, and I actually really enjoyed doing jazz. That was my favorite type of thing to play, because I was in a jazz ensemble. I mean, so we had like a chamber thing too, where it was just all brass and woodwind sections, and I think there was 2 altos, 2 sopranos, 2 tenors, and one baritone sax player. And
I would have never pictured you for a sax player.
Yeah, man, I picked it up because I just thought that they were cool looking when I was a kid. That was really the only reason why. There was no reason.
You picked it up because of Clinton, didn't you?
Yeah.
I apologize for Brad. He's very uncivilized.
You can't see Kristian saying a soft lullaby with his deep voice and then playing Careless Whisper on the sax.
Yes. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on the band Ghost, but I was at one of my friend's tattoo parlors last night, and he put them on, and I'm a fan of the band, but I heard a saxophone that they were playing a song, and there was a saxophone, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like they really put a saxophone in this music. And it was just fucking awesome.
The band is a Blue Oyster Cult for metalheads.
That's a really good analogy. I mean, dude, it's not quite my cup of tea, but they're good players, man.
I agree.
It's cool to hate on Ghost, but watch them play live, man. They're good, polished players. And
I will absolutely agree. I'll give them that for sure.
You're
good when Metallica backs you.
Well, that's the thing, man. I think most musicians, it's fun to pick on them, but they can play their instruments, man. They're musicians.
Yeah, I can play my skin flute too, but you see me getting any fucking credit.
Okay, before I forget this topic, because I have the worst memory ever, I just want to circle back for a second. So, if you did have a saxophone,
yeah.
Why are you laughing at me, Brad?
Because it's probably what I'm thinking. I probably am thinking the exact same thing.
We'll find out. Would we get a song from the band with sax on it?
Absolutely what I was thinking.
I mean, I doubt it, but
okay.
If we were,
come on, you guys never listened to that band Yakuza, man?
If we were really hammered one night and maybe tripping on acid, maybe you would, but I would say probably not.
All right, never mind. I was gonna get a GoFundMe going on here.
If anybody's got a saxophone, some acid, and a ton of booze,
I mean, we could figure out the booze. Acid and saxophone. We'll cover the booze.
Well, how about this, guys? we'll give you a little tidbit and we'll break it here. On the next record, we're actually working with Landy Slaw, who has done orchestral arrangements for Devin Townsend Project, Tesseract, Periphery. It's still in its infancy, but we're going to be getting a little more firepower on our orchestration for the next album.
That
Nice.
is awesome.
So, speaking of which, how far along are you guys on the writing process? I mean, I guess I'm asking the wrong guys, but how far along is Igor?
5 songs in, we kind of have to work out the individual parts and the arrangements, but I mean, we've got pre-productions for 5 songs.
Yep.
Nice.
Nice. So when should we expect something coming out from you guys? Another record coming out for you guys?
No comment.
You're not allowed to say.
Smart
Is that what
man.
it is?
That's a smart man right there.
Don't want to jinx it. I will say this, we're required by our label to have a new album out, I think every 3 years, Kristian?
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yeah,
So
I was talking to Igor about it because actually the funny thing is before you reached out to me, Craig, because I made a post on a group on Facebook looking for metal bands to come on and whatnot. I was actually supposed to have Igor on, and we had to cancel because I forgot about it. It was like a 6 p.m. show, and I don't normally do evening or afternoons for my show. And I forgot about it the first time, and then the second time he completely didn't say anything to me. So I was just like, I don't know what to do now. Like I'm not gonna hound you, And then you reached out to me, and I was like, fuck yeah.
He's got crazy work. He's got a crazy work schedule, man. He's going to school for nursing, and he does overnight shifts at a hospital. And so his schedule's kind of fucked right now.
Yeah.
Understandable.
All right, so I gotta ask, what's your favorite song on the album? And don't say all of them.
Who you asking? Which one? Me?
Both of you.
Well, you're talking, so you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to be honest, man, it's a really tough question because
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
I mean, this might sound
You narrow it to 2?
2, yeah, I'll give you 2. I think my 2 favorite songs would be Chained and Reflections in the Ice.
Okay.
Chained to the Earth because it was the first song that Igor ever showed me, and I just love the just the flow of the song. I love how heavy the guitars are, because that's something that as a guitar player, ever since I've been playing guitar, chunky, heavy guitar with an awesome guitar tone, like that wet, vacuum tube amp tone, that's
Fuck yeah.
That's I love that shit, and that song's got a beautiful flow to it. It's very melodic. Igor's solo is unbelievable in that song, and just the whole song itself with the heaviness, it's amazing. So that's definitely probably my favorite. I'd say then also Reflections, only because there's so much going on in Reflections. You've got acoustic guitar, you've got probably a total of each of us have 2 guitar tracks for rhythm with different amps. I used my Mesa Dual Rec and a Soldano. Igor used the EVH and his PV, and we did that with the whole recording, but just the layers of guitar parts in there with the acoustic, and then just the melody, and then also the orchestral synths and stuff like that, the string parts. It's just there's a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion in that song too. So those are my 2 favorites, just because they speak to me. I think they're the most intense emotionally, I guess.
Yeah, everything that you mentioned about Chained is exactly why, I kind of called that out earlier.
Right.
I love everything that you just described about it.
Thank you. I mean, it's got that. I mean, that's something I'll always love. I think that's what drew me to heavy metal in the first place, is a guitar that's really chunky, really tight, and has a really good tone.
I mean, isn't that what got us all here?
Right. Right. And then to have
one way or another.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
technically for me, that's not really what got me here. We can talk about that another time.
I think
I
for
did.
myself, I would separate it into what's my favorite studio song, my favorite live song, and my
Okay.
favorite live song is definitely "Chained to the Earth." I mean,
Okay.
if you can imagine it live, that song just hits like a fucking bomb. You know, in that opening, bam, bam, that comes in, it's just like it resonates. It's loud, it's authoritative, and it really hits you live.
Yeah.
I think studio wise, my favorite song is The Climb because I feel like it's just a really good introduction to what this band became.
Yes.
I'm not trying to sound too sentimental, but it's like if you look at the lyrical content, it kind of builds you up with determination and then tragically lets you down, just like life has a way of doing. And
Yeah.
it's got heavy guitar tones. It's got a good solo trade off between Kristian and Igor. The bass isn't following the guitar. It's kind of in its own realm and melodic more so than just copying the guitar. But I think that what Igor's kind of developed as his signature is what I call his dream keys. Those kind of like pinging keyboards that are kind of panned left and right and just kind of hit you with atmosphere more so than like a kind of like a Children of Bodom type of melody keyboards. And I just think for somebody that is new to our music, it's the first track on the album. If you're looking to see what's in store, that's the song to check out. And that's why that's my favorite studio track.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I have two questions based on what you've just said. So first, you mentioned a live recording before. Is that something that's
Yes.
available? Because now I really want to hear that fucking song live.
Yeah, so in December, Metal Injection has been hosting monthly Slay at Home concerts. And if you check that out, you can see Elusive Light and Chained to the Earth live. We are also in the process of releasing a live album and a live DVD, if you will. But we have everything recorded and edited at this point, but the way that music kind of works promotionally is you're going to get the most hype when you have a new album that's released, right?
Yeah, of
And
course.
now that Echoes is out, we're kind of at a denouement, if you will, or kind of a little bit of a gradual reduction in activity because we can't play shows just yet, and we're not really at the
Yeah.
point where the new album is out. So strategy wise, I think we're going to sit on that a bit until we have the hype of a new record. So it's like, hey, if you need something to tie you over, check out this live recording and check out this DVD you can get.
Yeah, it's definitely a smart idea. And is that available on YouTube? The one that is out there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so
I'm definitely looking that up.
you
Yeah,
can
just look up Metal Injection Fires in the Distance.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the series, so I'll definitely.
I'm actually looking through the comments right now, and my favorite comment so far is these guys are the new Led Zeppelin of 2020.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
check
So
out
now-
the live comments too. Somebody called Kristian the Hulk with a ukulele.
Yeah. I fucking,
All
I
right,
was
yeah.
dying when I was reading those. I almost literally fell out of my office chair because they were awesome.
I'm
They were
definitely
loving comments, but these people had some spice.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna check that out, like probably right after we're done here. Now, my second question is something I've kind of been wanting to ask, but I don't know if you guys will know much of this. So, the electronics that are going on, the keys and stuff. Do you guys know much about the hardware or software that was used, or is that another member that would know more about that?
Yeah,
Because I'm interested because I do a lot of electronic stuff.
yeah. So Igor also writes that as well, and the way that he does it is he'll kind of come up with a MIDI melody. He'll put some effects, some atmosphere, and he'll put some arpeggiation on it. So, the way he described it, he's just like, hey, sometimes I'm going to write a piano part that I really, really like. Other times, I let the computer write it with the arpeggiator, and I just pick what sounds good.
Hell yeah, that shit works.
Guys, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I gotta say, the moment that I found out that you guys ended up getting, I didn't even listen to you guys, but the moment that I heard that you guys got signed by Prosthetics, I was absolutely like, congratulations, because there's not a band, a bunch of guys out there that I have known that you guys have been doing this for years. You know, like I said, Craig, I followed you since Engraved. I've seen Kristian and 60 Grit a few times as well. I know the amount of work that you guys put in. I understand the amount of work that has to be put into being in a band and whatnot. And with the fact that, Craig, you know, you've been with the same group of guys for like so long, and then Kristian comes along. Like I said, as soon as I heard about it, I was just like, this is awesome. I know these guys, they deserve it. Great musicians, great guys. And then I listened to it and I was just like, fuck yeah.
Thanks, man.
The one question that I did want to ask is about Kyle. What ended up happening with Kyle, and why did he end up deciding to leave?
Kristian, if you don't mind, I'll answer this and tell me if you have a different take on it. But I mean, Kyle's our brother. You know, we love the dude to death. There's nothing but mutual respect there. When Igor moved back from California, he switched to being a vocalist in Archaic. And
Right.
the way that he kind of broke it down, he's like, you know, I did my drums out of loyalty, but he's like, dude, just playing drums causes me a lot of anxiety. He's like, I'm just, you know, he's like, I know how to play, but like, I'm not a practicing drummer. And, you know, I'll hang as long as you guys need me to, but like, I gotta phase out my time. And, you know, it sucks because Kyle is a very kind of central and stable figure that you kind of need in the band. But when we met Jordan, we kind of met him randomly, and the dude is just an animal on drums. But again, he's a very chill, even-minded, great dude to work with. But, you know, Kyle taught him kind of all the drum parts and really helped him understand the music. So I think going forward, you know, Kyle has mentioned to me that he wants to help us doing live sound, you know, and kind of being that support figure. He's like, dude, I love just coming to shows and helping you guys. He's like, knowing that I don't have to play drums is like a huge weight off my chest.
He wants to be that sixth member now.
Yeah, which you need live, man. You know what I mean? With the amount of moving parts that we have in our live setup, it helps to have a hand on deck that knows your music, can communicate to the sound guy, can help you with your stage effects. So he's still a part of this. There was no bad blood at all with Kyle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Kyle's a good dude. Loved him, and you know, I didn't know the situation behind it and whatnot. I knew there wasn't bad blood. I absolutely knew that. I just wanted to know what was the situation and whatnot. But guys, it's been a pleasure having you on. I definitely want to have you guys back on once the new album, or you know, some more news, whichever comes out first. I'd be more than happy to have you guys on. Kristian, it's been a long time. Nice seeing you. Craig, thank you so much for coming on, guys. Actually, before I let you guys go, which song are we going to listen to?
So I sent you the Metal Injection set, and it is Elusive Light and Chained to the Earth.
Yes.
All right, so please enjoy Elusive Light. Wait, what was it? I fucked that up right after you said it. Enjoy it.
Okay.
It is Elusive Light and Chained to the Earth.
All right, enjoy the song.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. It was a really great conversation.
Thank you, guys.
Pleasure.
who are deaf to that idea, who only think of themselves, who wouldn't worry about the eternal daemon or censor or companion. And there are, of course, people who only get pleasure from being unpleasant to them. Other people in inflicting cruelty on them. The first group we call the sociopathic, and the second group we call the psychopathic. My only problem is with those who think that they're all made in the image of God.
We are Fires in the Distance, and this track is titled Chained to the Earth.